trying to improve how you communicate, but you've been told you probably need to enhance your executive communication skills. In this video, I'm going to share with you one mistake that I see a lot of executives makes as it relates to how they are communicating in more challenging situations. And I mention this because executive communication is important. It's important as a woman in leadership. It's important as a man in leadership. But there's a habit a lot of people make that I do not want you to do anymore. Now, we're going to talk about the one habit today, but there's a lot of different habits that leaders tend to make when they are in executive roles or they are aspiring to be in executive roles. And we talk a lot about that on the channel. If you are new to me, welcome. And if you are one of my absolutely amazing subscribers, welcome back, friend. This channel heavily focuses in on advanced communication skills and strategies that will help you to stand out from everyone else and develop an unfair competitive advantage as it relates to how you are able to communicate under pressure. Now, in the comments below, when you hear the word executive communication, what comes to mind? What are a couple of things that you think about initially? Put it in the comments below. I will tell you that the one habit that I see happen a lot has to do with communication. But let's dive into why executive communication has this very much stern type of association with it. When many leaders are trying to enhance themselves in terms of how they are communicating, executive communication, people also look at the word executive presence. And there's a book out there called Executive Presence that puts executive presence in a formula. It says that it's 60% gravitas, 30% communication, and 10% appearance. And what happens is that when people think of executive communication, they think of executive presence. And they think to themselves, okay, in order for me to communicate like an executive and to develop my executive communication, I need to communicate in the majority of the formula that's listed in the book, which is 60% gravitas. As a point of reference, I disagree with the book 100% as it relates to how they make a formula of executive presence. I don't think that it's 60% gravitas, 30% communication, and 10% appearance. I don't agree with that. And this is the reason why a lot of times when leaders are in those situations when they're trying to communicate in a more executive type way, they become very defensive in terms of what they are saying specifically. Because when they are communicating, and let's say someone debates you or they are interacting with you or giving you a bit of pushback or a challenge, people will go on the defense and they come across very defensive, but in a very aggressive, angry type of way. And I want you to break that communication habit, because even though executive communication means, of course, being able to communicate in a more assertive way, but you do not want to be the person that comes across as being very, very defensive. Thank you for the heart emojis, friends. I want to say hello and welcome to those of you watching the live today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. When you hear the word executive communication, what comes to mind? I want to say hello to Cat 23rd. Cat 23rd says, hey, Doc. High five, Cat. Good to see you, friend. How you doing today? Cat, I did do a video based on the topic suggestion you mentioned last night, as it relates to the two businesses that are visible, what creates growth for one and stagnation for the other one. So feel free to check out that video, and I appreciate for the topic suggestion. For those of you just joining, we're talking about executive communication, the habit that you want to start breaking immediately, and that is responding in a very defensive way. Why is that? Because when you're in a defensive way, especially when you are trying to enhance your executive communication skills, it comes across as you are not able to control your emotions. And when you are trying to position yourself in those executive roles, whether you are starting out on your journey, you have been a seasoned executive, or you've been in the public arena for many years, how you control your emotions under pressure truly does dictate how you are perceived. Now, I know some people may say that's not fair, we're humans and we have emotions. Yes, all of that is completely true. But there's a way you need to manage these emotions when they come up that will help you to showcase yourself as the leader that can handle pressure. All right, Cat 23 says, I went to watch the video. Sorry, I couldn't be there. Oh, no problem, Cat. Do you know the videos are on replay? All of them are recorded. I apologize. My kids hijacked my meeting yesterday, or live yesterday, but I did give some value there, so I appreciate you nonetheless. We have Mr. Hello, Mr. How you doing today? Asking, am I American? Yes, I am American. Now, when you hear the word executive communication, what comes to mind? Thank you for the heart emojis, friends. When you hear executive communication, what are a couple words that come to your mind initially when you think of it? And as I mentioned, I broke it down a bit for those of you just joining. The reason why people sometimes will become very defensive when they are trying to communicate and develop their executive communication skills is because there is a book that came out, and I mentioned this at the beginning, but I'll highlight it really quickly because many of you just joined. But the Executive Presence book highlights executive presence as being 60% gravitas. If you don't know what gravitas means, gravitas specifically is the seriousness of a manner when you look up the definition for it. And etc. So most people, when they think of executive communication, they think about the Executive Presence book, and they think about, 60% of executive presence is gravitas, being serious about a matter. Therefore, when they are in a situation where they're on defense, or someone's asking them a question or challenging them, they respond in a very aggressive type of way, because they feel like, or they believe, or have been taught that this is how you need to communicate as an executive. And that's not the case. I know that sounds contrary to what many of you think, but this is the reason why you subscribe to this channel, because we talk about high stakes communication, high pressure communication, when it occurs in a way that is more authentic to you as a person, and that focuses a bit more on you building a team, your ability to generate charisma and be able to influence a group. But you will not be able to do that if you are planning on just exhibiting gravitas that's discussed in the Executive Presence book, which is the reason why I'm writing my own Executive Presence book that will be published later this year. All right, let's see. Mr. No, Mr. I'm not going to McDonald's. Just because I'm an American doesn't mean we go to McDonald's every single day, all day, and etc. I don't know if you mean that as a joke, but I'm just letting you know that culturally that's not necessarily the best way to say something like that. I mean, I wouldn't say that about any other culture. I think cultures are amazing, but you can't just assume that someone's in one culture that this is what they do and this is where they're going. So this may not be the channel for you, friend. I'm just letting you know that right now. But let me know what your thoughts are about executive presence. Let me know a time perhaps that you have seen someone that has exhibited executive communication skills, but it came across the wrong way. Let me know in the comments below. I will share with you that there are so many executives that I have interacted with that really struggle with this, which is the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to live, because I know people that have been executives for decades, for a long time, and they still to this day, friends, they are not able to control their emotions under pressure. I have seen executives act like children, and I know that is probably somewhat surprising to some of you, but I have seen executives act like children, raise their voice, get upset, yell at people, be very aggressive and rude, only because they cannot control their emotions under pressure. And this is the reason why I want you all to break that habit. You cannot take things so seriously when it comes to communication as it relates to someone giving you a challenge or pushback. It's always an opportunity to grow, but if you take things too seriously and put it in a situation to where everything someone says is a direct attack on you personally, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to develop a competitive advantage over other leaders, CEOs, business owners, public officials, and etc., because everything's personal. It's not. And the people that I have found that take everything personal and respond back in that very aggressive, defensive type of way that we discussed, they tend to not be favored upon when it comes to major projects. And this is why I'm here, to support you any way that I can. All right, let me go to the chat. Cat 23 says, throwing tantrums because they can't control the room. Cat, that is a fantastic statement. And I have seen this, Cat. I know you've seen it too, friend, where people literally will throw tantrums even though they are adults. You will think for a moment that they just went back in time and became a 3-year-old. It happens. And this is the reason why I don't want you all to make this mistake. The best way to solve this issue is to make sure that you do not take every single thing, every single challenge, thank you for the smiley faces, every single debate as being a personal attack. It's not. Now, if it is a personal attack, guess what? We've talked about that, right? We've talked about personal attacks. We've talked about those situations. I've explained to everyone that there's a couple different ways I respond depending on if I think the actual comment is friendly, unfriendly, or intentionally being rude. But there's ways to manage that. But every single time someone challenges you or gives you something to consider doesn't mean they don't like you personally. It does not mean that specifically. So this is something that executives struggle with. And if you follow my content here, or you subscribe to the channel, you will not struggle with this as much. And if you are truly ready to make a transformation in terms of how you are communicating, especially if you are transitioning into higher level management, then you absolutely want to reach out to me at exciteexcellence.org. And let's work together so I can help you go to that next level in your career specifically. I will be live later this evening. If you're new to me, I go live typically 7 to 8 times a week. So I do go live a lot. I have a couple more items coming in for my workstation, and I will start recording some additional content that will be fun, that I believe the audience will enjoy. And if you're one of my subscribers, please let me know in the comments if you like the videos that are going to be coming out. I will keep my live schedule. Thank you for the heart emojis. I will keep the live schedule that I have right now, but I will say this, with the live schedule, it still will be the same. You may see me record videos at different points in time. There will be some recorded videos or pre-recorded videos, and there will also be some random live videos. Now, I mean random in terms of the timing of the live. Some of them may be early in the morning. So if you're able to join, fantastic. If not, just know that I'm recording when I have quiet time in terms of my space, so I do not have my kids hijack the lives sometimes. But just know that you'll see some additional live videos coming up. If you do, just know that I'm still going to keep my live cadence that I have, the schedule that I have already that's listed on my post, but know that you may see some different videos come in here and there. Let me know what are some topics or some challenges that you all are facing right now as leaders. I'm here to support you any way that I can. Please come to me with the hard situations, the hard conversations you're going to have that are more professionally related. If you're dealing with a conversation, you don't know what to say, or maybe you just have a very sensitive topic, you're always welcome to reach out to me and DM me on any social media platform. I'll be happy to help you any way that I can. I will see you all